Hey everyone, Dr. Zio here again, and today we're here to talk about Power Rangers Dino Fury Season 2, Episode 9, The Hunt. As always, we'll do our summary, likes, dislikes, conclusion, and then we'll close off things with our question of the week. So, yeah, summary, good episode, fantastic episode even. The episode starts off with Void Queen unveiling her secret project that her and Slider were working on. That secret project being a new general called Snag Eye. Now, Snag Eye has the ability to capture beings or objects and store them, I guess, inside of himself. And so Void Queen tells Snag Eye to use that ability to capture the Rangers. Meanwhile, they're not really worrying about Void Knight right now. Although Void Knight is in the background of Area 62 just listening in. And when Snag Eye teleports away, Void Knight's about to leave. He accidentally bumps into something, and they're about to catch him when he teleports away as well. Back on the Ranger side of things, Jane and Jayborg are over here coming out of Buzz Blast. They're over here roller skating. I guess Jane is roller skating. She's trying to get the hang of things. And once she does, she's going to give everyone in Buzz Blast a pair of roller skates for reasons. And then hijinks ensue. She falls. She ends up seeing a ghost in an alleyway. So after that encounter, she goes back to Buzz Blast, tells Amelia that, hey, you were right about these supernatural things, about these ghosts more specifically. I want this on the next episode of Mystery Buzz. I want this exposed. You gotta have it in before a certain time. So Amelia rounds up Ollie and the rest of the Rangers to go ahead and see what's going on there, but not before the Ranger hotline gets a mysterious call to meet at a warehouse. So the Ranger is obliged to go to the warehouse to find out what's going on, and it's none other than Void Knight. Void Knight's there, he lays down his sword, all the other Rangers are very apprehensive about what's going on, and Void Knight says that, hey, Void Queen's got a new general called Snag Eye, he's coming after you. Zeno doesn't want to hear any of that. Doesn't want to hear any of that mess. So at this point, Void Knight ends up coming clean with everything, tells him that he needed Sporix to revive Santura. Santura was injured in an accident many years ago, and then Santura is also his wife. So this is the first time we've gotten confirmation of just what their relationship is. I mean, obviously they had some sort of lovey-dovey relationship, but we didn't know if they were like significant others, or if there was something more or something less than that. But it's nice to finally have confirmation that they are spouses. But yeah, at this point, once he says that she's my wife, everyone's kind of surprised except for Zato. Zato does not give a shit. Zato was actually pissed at this point. He's like, hey, no, you're telling me you took the Sporix and you endangered an entire planet for one person? And Void Knight's like, yeah, I understand how bad that sounds. He's like, no, we don't need you. And Void Knight's like, okay, you know what? If y'all decide that you do need my help or you want to team up here against Void Queen, I'm going to be over here. I'm just going to be chilling in this warehouse. And Zato's like, we don't want your help, or we don't need your help. I feel like the delivery here could have been better, but I understand the emotion behind it. I do appreciate it. Zato's not happy. The others aren't convincing him otherwise. They end up teleporting out. Half of the Rangers go off to investigate what's going on with the ghost situation. Meanwhile, Zato and Javi go back to the base to figure out if this whole Snag Eye situation is legit, and they go ahead and do their scanning thing. But unfortunately for the remaining Rangers, when they're in that alleyway, they get ambushed by Snag Eye. They end up calling Zato and Javi for backup, but not before most of them get captured. Just as Zato and Javi get there, Izzy and I think it's Ion get captured. And then, just as Zato and Javi are about to get captured, they teleport away. Zato's pissed. He thinks that Void Knight told Snag Eye that they were going to be in this little alleyway. He somehow heard that, I guess. Zato, you're not really making too much sense here, but okay, I understand. I fully get where you're coming from. You're just really heated right now, my boy. But Javi's over here defending Void Knight. He's like, okay, I don't think that that's correct. Void Knight, he's done so much for us up within these last few episodes, and Void Knight's like, no, Zato's like, no, people don't just change. And then Javi's like, I don't know about that. My dad used to be a piece of shit, and now he's my biggest supporter. Meanwhile, Ollie used to be on Amelia's ass all the time about supernatural things, and now look at her. Now look at them. He was the first one to volunteer to help her catch this ghost. People can change if they're willing to change, and at this point, Void Knight has shown that he's very much willing to change. He's showing remorse for his previous actions. And Javi's like, you know what? I'm gonna go back to the warehouse and ask Void Knight for some help. So he teleports away. Solon over here is looking at Zato like, you have to go after him, right? He's like, yeah, I know. So he teleports away as well. So now it's Javi and Zato at the warehouse. They grab Void Knight, and then Snag Eye appears as well. Zato's like, it was a trap. It's an ambush. And then Zato gets captured. Void Knight's like, no, this is not an ambush. We need to work together. You need to morph now. So it's Javi and Void Knight against Snag Eye. Javi gets captured. Now it's Void Knight against Snag Eye in a very good fight. I enjoyed this a lot. Void Knight ends up punching the thing that's containing the Rangers, and it damages Snag Eye long enough so that it creates a hole. Then Zato's able to get out of the hole, but just before the other Rangers can do the same, the hole closes up. So now it's just It's now Zato and Void Knight. Void Knight is incredibly weakened from all this. So what he does, this man demorphs. Not just his armor, but now he has his shield and his shield and sword in his hand. He demorphs his shield as well to reveal the Dino Knight key and Morpher. Shock and awe, he was using Ranger technology. What happened was that he explains that he found it long ago, and he used the Dino Knight key and Morpher to kind of to create a suit, and augmented the suit with the Ranger abilities to get his powers. So yeah, Void Knight's a genius, and he's really, really smart, and this is really resourceful. But he gives the powers to Zato, so Zato uses that to transform into Dino Knight armor, and then he uses that to defeat Snag Eye. The Rangers come out of Snag Eye, and Void Knight appears again. He's talking to the Rangers on some, hey, we gotta work together and all that. My name is Terrick, and just as they're about to get all huggy and whatnot, shit takes a turn for the worst. History repeats itself, and Void Queen pops up. She's all like, "Hello, dear," and she teleports them away. Rangers can't do anything about this. It's too fast. Void Knight screams just as they're teleporting away, and that gives me just feelings of Corone and the Dark Spectre and Ecliptor situation from Power Rangers in Space, as well as the Tenaya 7 and Venjix situation from Power Rangers RPM. So we're definitely repeating history here with a different. Dino Fury puts its own little flavor on this whole situation. But after all this, we go back to Buzz Blast, and the Rangers are talking. They don't know what to do at this point, but forget all that. The Rangers are here in this talent show, or not? They're not in the talent show, but someone's performing in the talent show, and it turns out that this guy is he is the guy who got captured by the ghost in the alleyway. They see the ghost. Jane tries to stop it. Turns out it's just the guy's just the guy's drone forming an illusion, and the episode ends on a somewhat lighthearted, happy note. But yeah, let's go ahead and talk about our likes for this week. Before we go into our likes, I want to talk about one more thing. While Void Knight was initially talking with the Rangers, he did mention that Santora was a good person before all this, and she wanted to get revenge on the humans, so she used the Spork's energy to turn herself into Void Queen, and now she's going to get revenge on the humans, and she's not going to stop until the Earth is destroyed. But Terrick just wanted to leave Earth with his girl after she got restored, but she had other plans. So yeah, now let's go ahead and talk about our likes for this week. First thing first is the cabbage scene. So when Jane is skating in the beginning, she ends up tripping over some vendor's cabbages, and as you would expect, the vendor's like, "My cabbages." So it's a nice little funny reference to Avatar: The Last Airbenders, and I wasn't expecting that from this episode, but I loved it. I absolutely loved it. Javi also got a full screen morph when he was teaming up with Void Knight, and that full screen morph was absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. I cannot wait until we get more full screen morphs from this season, because yeah, they put a lot of effort into this. I love it. Love it every single time it happens. also, I want to talk about Zato teasing Ion for damaging the box. So when the what was it when the four Rangers originally get captured, um, just before Snag Eye could capture Zato and Javi, when he slashes and then they teleport away, he transports a box into himself. So back on the inside, or was it Ion uses his Mosa Blast to try and blast their way out. The blast reflects on the walls of Snag Eye's innards, and it hits a box and damages it. So when Zato gets captured, the first thing he does is he looks at that box and looks at Ion. He's like, you tried to blast your way out, huh? I'm like, that's great. Like that's funny. He knows Ion very very well at that point. I love that he was able to to make fun of Ion in that moment. Just a lighthearted moment in a kind of a dire situation. It was nice. And another like for me, as always, is Bert Sellen's music, especially when Void Knight was giving the Dino Knight Morpher and Key over to Zato. The music in that situation and the music throughout the fight was just perfect, absolutely perfect. And I don't know, Bert Sellen, you're doing God's work here. Like your music has been fantastic. I've already said it before multiple times, but I've never been more enthralled by Power Rangers music than I have here. Like Power Rangers music hasn't been this good in so long. Keep doing what you're doing, and I hope they get you back for whatever they have planned for next year. Another thing I liked about this episode was little bits of continuity here. Ollie offering to help Amelia catch Snag Eye, or not Snag Eye, but capture the ghost. A little bit of continuity from the previous episode where Ollie got told off by his professor, and we saw Ollie adopt a new attitude toward Amelia's obsession with supernatural creatures. It was a nice moment between the two. That's going to further their potential relationship, and of course the look she gives him when he offers to help her was cute as well. Another thing was Javi bringing up the fact that his father has changed when he's over here appealing to Zato on Void Knight's behalf. It was a nice little setup there, And my last like for the episode was Zato being pretty aggressive, aggressively apprehensive about helping Void Knight. And I mean, yeah, it's kind of hypocritical because he also has a part in unleashing the Sporks, not just 65 million years ago, but in episode 1 when he threw the dagger and it Void Knight dodged it and it hit it hit the Sporks container, releasing the Sporks. And I could take that as him being remorseful because he had a hand in releasing the Sporks twice now. And I can see why he's mad. And I like that he stuck to his guns in this situation. But yeah, let's go ahead and talk about my dislikes here. The Rangers demorphing within Snag Eye just didn't make any sense to me. Like, this wasn't like Zato. When Zato came into Snag Eye, he demorphed automatically. He didn't have a choice there. But when the other Rangers came into Snag Eye, they were forced to demorph for whatever reason. It didn't make any sense to me whatsoever. Like, why would you do that? Why not just have one individual demorph and then see if you're able to remorph first and foremost, and then 2, if not, the other 3 Rangers are still morphed in that case, and they can see if there's a way they can use their powers to get out. Because as it stands, once you're demorphed inside a Snag Eye, your communications can't get out of him. So there was no teleporting, there was no communicating with Solon, there was no morphing, there was none of that. They were basically sitting ducks until Zato was able to beat Snag Eye with the Dino Knight armor. Like, it didn't make any sense why they demorphed. And the only other thing I disliked about the episode was that silly ending. Like, I feel like it defused any of the tension caused by Void Knight getting captured just in the scene before. I guess it's a minor gripe, but still, I didn't like it. Like, in Space, the episode ended when Astronema got captured. In RPM, the episode ended when Tenaya 7 got captured. And I think the episode should have ended here when Void Knight got captured and left you lingering on that, oh snap, shit just got real. What's Void Queen gonna do with Void Knight from here on? Or how are the Rangers gonna get Void Knight back? And what are they gonna do with all this new information? It would have been exciting. It would have been a good old cliffhanger. But as it stands, yeah, I didn't like this. I didn't like this at all. But in conclusion, though, again, a fantastic episode that gave us more information about the relationship between Void Knight and Santora, or Void Knight and Void Queen at this point. And, the Rangers are finally coming along or coming around to the idea of Void Knight being on their side. And I dig that 100%. 100%. And I can't wait to see where things go. We also got the Dino Knight key and Morpher, confirming our question of, where Void Knight's getting his powers and what connection he has to the Morphin Grid or the Rangers themselves. So that was nice. It's always nice to get some questions there, get answers there. But speaking of questions, let's go ahead and get on to our question of the week. First things first, what are Void Queen's plans for Void Knight? Will she destroy Void Knight? We really don't know, because initially she said that she wanted to destroy Void Knight, but now that she's got him captured, we don't know where she might go. We don't know if we're going to, lean on old tropes and turn him evil and go against the Rangers, or, if she's actually going to, pay good on her promise and actually destroy him then and there and get rid of that, lingering thread. With Santora, if Santora, the good Santora, is still in there somewhere, is she going to hold back and not want to destroy Void Knight? I guess we'll have to see. Additionally, how are the Rangers going to save Terrick? At this point in the game, they don't know where Area 62 is. They don't have any leads on where Void Knight would have been taken. They're in the dark about all of this. It's going to be interesting seeing where all of this ends up going, because each time this has happened, it's always been, well, in space, there was no saving Astronema. She straight up died. They had to use Andros's tears and I guess Zordon's energy to kind of bring her back on the side of good. Meanwhile, Tenaya 7, what happened with Tenaya 7? I want to say with Tenaya 7 they injected her with the Vengeance antidote, but I'm not too sure. I'll look into that one and leave it in the notes here. But yeah, will they destroy Void Knight? Will they come up with some sort of MacGuffin to bring him back to good, or will they talk no jutsu him back onto the side of good? Who knows? Another thing, small thing, but can Void Knight still morph? The Dino Knight Morpher and Key was what was giving him, was augmenting his powers. But earlier in the season, in episode 1 of season 2, we saw that his armor seems to exist outside of his power set, so maybe he can't morph per se, but he can still put on the armor and still have that as an added layer of protection. And he can rely on his natural fighting abilities, but he still wouldn't be as powerful without that Dino Knight Morpher and Key. Or maybe Zato can give them back to him temporarily so he can fight alongside the Rangers. Who knows? Last but not least, we still don't know. Well, yeah, we still don't know how his how his powers function exactly, because he still has his sword, so we know that functions independently of him having the Morpher and the Key. But he doesn't have his shield anymore. But yeah, we will see what happens from here on out. I'm excited to see where we close out the season. We just have 2 more episodes left, 2 more reviews, and then that's it for the first half of season 2 part 1. But yeah, we'll see where things go. Otherwise, as always, thank you for watching. Leave a comment, like as well, and subscribe, please. It always helps me out. Until next time, though, wear your mask, stay safe, get your boosters, get your vaccines, and have a good one. Stay safe, and ciao.